Time now for What's Hot. We talk about stories that have all of us talking.
We're joined by Susie Falk from the Falk Group, plus Jeff Wagner is back. All right, we mentioned this just a moment ago. A rich Texas teen got 10 years probation for driving drunk and killing 4 people. The defense claims the teen is a victim of something called affluenza, the product of wealthy, privileged parents who never set limits for the boy. The judge says the teen is in need of treatment. Should the teen have been sent to jail?
Yes, the prosecutors asked for 20 years. The idiot judge decides, here, we're not just going to send him not to jail, but we're going to send him to some facility in Newport, California, where you get a nice view of the Pacific Ocean, and you know the mom and dad are going to pay for this. There needs to be consequences. Now look, the bottom line here is that there's a lot of people who think there's 2 levels in the justice system, one for people with money, one for people who don't have money. I'm not sure I necessarily buy that day in, day out, but this is something that clearly demonstrates the difference. If this was a poor person of color, he would be in jail for 15 or 20 years.
It's sort of ironic if you think of it that the kid got off for so many years. I mean, he had been in trouble before, you know, with girls in the car that he ended up crashing and killing people with. Naked girls at age 14, and so he kept getting off, right? So now he's getting off now again. So it basically sort of teaches him that if you're rich, sorry, but you can just sort of buy your way out of trouble. And I don't know, the 10 years probation just isn't enough in this case. I don't think, simply because I was reading the kid's record and he had done some really dumb things before, and he should.
Well, 4 people are dead. 4 people are dead. 2 are essentially quadriplegics because of this behavior. I mean, the kid's blood alcohol level was what, like 3 hours after the accident? It was 3 times the legal limit if he were 21, but he was 16.
Right, and if you buy into the argument that he has not been disciplined, he has been this rich kid, you know, then
then discipline him.
Well, teach him the lesson now, Judge. This is your opportunity. You just bought into, you know, he's getting away with it again.
And I don't know that, you know, 10 years or 20 years of prison time is the right answer, but I do think a couple years maybe and some intensive therapy.
There's 4 fatalities. I mean, the father, the man who lost his wife and child was saying, you just put us back to day 1, week 1 here. You know, what was gained in this process?
This is horrible for the criminal justice system because it plays into, again, every one of those stereotypes that people who don't think the system works, that they have. And you know what? You can't defend something like this. You just can't.
So what are the parents, was their responsibility? The judge says it's their fault this kid didn't know any better. Well, now they're just cutting a check again.
Right.
Mr. Prosecutor, can they be punished?
Well, no. I mean, they'll be cutting checks. I mean, obviously, you know, there's going to be some big-time lawsuits that are going to come out of this, and you know, mom and dad are going to be writing checks to the victim's family. But as far as consequences, no way.
Okay, but the public embarrassment and humiliation, I hope, goes a long ways to sort of wreck their lives. And shame on them for not being good parents. And I think there will be enough public discussion among people like us who will take them to task.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Coming up next, again, we're joined by Susie Falk and Jeff Wagner. Now, today's viewer's choice: a school in Colorado suspended a 6-year-old for kissing a girl on her hand. The school even accused the boy of sexual harassment. But because of the negative publicity, the school has let the boy return and won't classify it as a sexual harassment. Was this blown out of proportion? And I'm actually thinking, which part of it here, folks? You know?
Now it's my turn, Jeff. Yes, this was. For starters, a 6-year-old being accused of sexual harassment is just downright wrong. You know, the kid's got a lot of energy. He admits it. He's got a little crush on a girl. He wants to just be with her. And for this mother to overreact because the kid tried to kiss her hand a couple times is absolutely ridiculous. So the school's pendulum went this way. They send him home with a detention, suspension, whatever, or accuse him of sexual assault. And thanks to the power of the press and publicity and all of that, the school has realized that they've made a real bad error, and they're erring on the side of being, you know, realistic and just saying the kid was not sexually harassing this girl.
I mean, see, that's a real strong term to throw around.
Well,
I mean,
it's
sexual harassment.
It is.
And see, my understanding is these are, I mean, they're 6 years old, but it's like boyfriend and girlfriend, and you know, they're little friends. And yes, he kissed her on the cheek, and yes, this was the second time he did it. And apparently, some playground monitor, some teacher sees this and runs to the principal, and that's where he gets this whole thing started. I mean, you know, there is real sexual harassment in this world. There is, you know, real unwanted touching and stuff, but they're 6 years old. I don't think the kid understands the concept of sexuality, much less harassment.
They shouldn't even use that term, and maybe you guys will get all kinds of calls about this, but you know what? They don't understand what it is they're doing at 6. So let's call it something else, you know?
Well, and I mean, he kissed her hand. I mean, I think doing things like this chips away at legitimate cases when you're talking about 6-year-olds, and I don't know how unwanted it was, but
sure. I mean, and you know what? The guy's got a lot of energy, and the teachers need to settle him down. The parents need to maybe settle him down. And the girls become predators just in a few years, so I'm sure he'll.
I don't know. When it comes to people in position of authority, we're 0 for 2 today, so let's see what we can find here. Time for our lightning round.
Yes, a growing breed of pet owners are sending their dogs to get ear implants, braces, and tummy tucks. According to health insurer Pet Plan, dog owners spent $62 million on plastic surgery in 2011. Your thoughts on this?
This would be another way of God telling you have too much money. I mean, I'm sorry, Fluffy, I love you, but no nose job, no breast enhancements. I'm sorry, you're just going to have to go with whatever God gave you.
Yeah, you wonder about the ugly dog contest every year, right? It's some Japanese Chihuahua or whatever. Do they operate on it to make it even uglier? Now, for those dogs that are in show contests, maybe, but if you have all that kind of money, have at it. But for the average, Joe on the street, I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, my dog had a scratch on his eye, and it took me a long time to finally call the vet, and I realized after 5 days I probably should get it treated.
Gosh.
Well, it's one thing if it's a medically necessary procedure. We're talking about tummy tucks, breast enhancements, whatever. Forget it.
Facelifts, Botox. Yeah, no, it's not going to happen with Pooch.
All right, guys. Thanks.
Yeah, hopefully Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer won't be going through anything here.
Good point.
All right. The What's Hot discussion continues online. Find that page at tmj4.com/hot.
And coming